Texas and Tennessee. And those of us fortunate enough to live along his migratory path just waited with bated breath till he came around the next year again. He had a horse named Amigo, and he kept him at Bronco Newcomb's stable in Aspen, Colorado. And every summer he'd pick him up and he'd ride across the mountain to Crested Butte. I was 17 years old when I met Towns, and I thought that was the coolest thing that I had ever heard of. Actually, now I'm 54 and I still think it's the coolest thing I ever heard of. But then the 70s wound down, and I guess times got hard, and Towns had to let Amigo go. They settled for a spell in Austin and then finally in Tennessee. It's my belief that he began to die that day. Now, a couple of winters back, I made a trip to those mountains, and make no mistake, I first saw those mountains with Towns, and I can stand here and say without any fear of being wrong that Towns Van Zandt loved the Colorado Rocky Mountains more than any other place on earth. And we made the trip backwards one night. We ran from Crested Butte over to Aspen. 58 miles as the crow flies, I believe, and I ain't a crow. It's probably 160 by the highway, but we ran into a particularly tenacious little snowstorm, and it, you know, the kind where it's snowing on your mountain and no place else on earth. It took us 8.5 hours to make the ride. And the switchbacks were pitching me out of the bunk, and I couldn't sleep anyway, so I climbed up front, rode shotgun with Charlie Quick and the Blue Dog. And the snow's blowing across the road like low-flying ghosts, and I swear to God I saw Towns and Amigo coming over the mountain 5 times that night. So I decided I'd make me a record of Towns Van Zandt songs. And this ain't on it. Ride the blue and high and free. She'll eat you down to misery. Leave you low come time to go. Long and low as love can be. To find a game. If I won $1, I'd make it rain. If it rained ocean, I'd drink it dry. I'd lay me down dissatisfied. Restless to walk and thoughts to fly, eyes to laugh and lips to cry, restless tongue to classify, are born to grow and grown to die. On the face of time, feeling full of foolish rhyme. Ain't no dark till something shines, bound to leave this dark behind.